Hello everyone, my name is Joanna Tadlock, and today I'll be presenting my teaching module on Maya Angelou's poem, Still I Rise. This lesson is designed to introduce students to Maya Angelou's life, the historical context of the poem, its major themes, literary devices, and the lasting impact her work has had on literature and society. I chose this poem because it teaches resilience, perseverance, and hope while encouraging students to find strength in their own voices. I chose Maya Angelou because she's one of the most influential voices in American literature. Her poetry goes beyond telling a story. It inspires people to overcome adversity and believe in themselves. Still I Rise is a poem that addresses racism, sexism, and oppression, but it also delivers a universal message of hope and perseverance. I believe students can connect with these themes regardless of their own backgrounds. Now, by the end of this lesson, students will be able to explain how Maya Angelou's life influenced her writing, analyze the major themes of resilience and identity, identify important literary devices, and evaluate how learning the poem performed changes its meaning. These objectives encourage students to think critically while developing their literary analysis skills. Now, Maya Angelou was much more than a poet. She was an author, an educator, an actress, an activist, and a civil rights leader. Throughout her life, she faced racism, personal trauma, and discrimination, and yet she transformed those experiences into powerful literature. Her writing continues to inspire readers around the world because it demonstrates courage, resilience, and hope. Now, Angelou's childhood had a tremendous influence on her writing. After experiencing trauma at a young age, she stopped speaking for several years because she believed her voice caused harm. And during that time, she developed a love for literature. And through the encouragement of Bertha Flowers, she eventually rediscovered her voice. This experience helps explain why language and self-expression are so important throughout her poetry. Now, Still I Rise was published in 1978 during the post-civil rights era. Although many legal barriers had been removed, racial and gender inequalities still existed. Angelou's work also reflects the ideals of the Black arts movement and Black feminism by celebrating Black identity, resilience, and empowerment. Now, understanding this historical context allows students to better appreciate the poem's deeper meaning. Now, this poem celebrates confidence, perseverance, and self-worth throughout the poem. Angelou reminds readers that no matter what obstacles they face, they have the strength to overcome them. The repeated message of rising after hardships makes this one of the most recognizable and inspiring poems in American literature. Now, Angelou uses several literary devices to strengthen her message. Repetition is the most obvious throughout the phrase "I rise," which emphasizes resilience. She also uses imagery such as dust, air, the moon, and the tides to show that strength is natural and unstoppable. Rhetorical questions challenge the oppressor, while her confident tone reinforces the speaker's determination. Now, the central themes of the poem include resilience, identity, hope, empowerment, and justice. Angelou teaches readers that they should never allow others to define their worth. Instead, confidence comes from recognizing one's own value despite the hardship. One important aspect of Still I Rise is its focus on Black feminism. Angelou addresses both racism and sexism while celebrating black women rather than accepting negative stereotypes. She reclaims confidence, beauty, and self worth. The perspective helps students understand the intersection of race and gender within her. Now, the speaker addresses an unnamed oppressor throughout the poem. Even though the oppressor attempts to silence or diminish her, Angelou repeatedly declares that she will continue to rise. This repetition demonstrates that resilience cannot be defeated and becomes the central message of the poem. Now, several quotations capture the poem's message. The opening line, "You may write me down in history," acknowledges historical injustice, while "but still like dust, I'll rise," emphasizes resilience. The closing statement, "I am the dream and the hope of the slave," connects the speaker's success to generations who dreamed of freedom and equality. To help students experience the poem more deeply, I would first have them read it silently. Next, they would listen to Maya Angelou perform the poem herself. And finally, students would compare their initial interpretation with their reaction after hearing Angelou's voice. This activity demonstrates how oral performance influences tone, emotion, and meaning. These discussion questions encourage students to think critically about the poem. They examine how Angelou addresses racism and sexism, why she speaks directly to the oppressor, and how history becomes the source of strength rather than defeat. Finally, students will consider why "Still I Rise" continues to remain relevant today. To elevate the student understanding, I created a guided reading quiz that focuses on themes, symbolism, tone, literary devices, and historical context. This assessment allows students to demonstrate both comprehension and critical thinking. I believe this lesson is valuable because it teaches much more than literary analysis. Students develop empathy, historical awareness, confidence, and critical thinking skills. Maya Angelou reminds readers that everyone has value and that perseverance can overcome even the greatest obstacles. In conclusion, Maya Angelou transformed personal pain into powerful literature that continues to inspire readers today. "Still I Rise" is a timeless reminder that resilience, hope, and determination can overcome adversity. My goal for this lesson is to help students appreciate both Angelou's literary contributions and universal message that every individual has the strength to rise. These are the sources I used to develop my teaching module, including Maya Angelou's poem, biographical information, and scholarly research that supported my literary analysis. And I also want to thank you for taking the time to view my presentation. I hope this lesson demonstrated not only the literary significance of Maya Angelou's "Still I Rise," but also how meaningful literature can encourage resilience, inspire critical thinking, and empower students to find their own voices. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.